Well, hello everyone. A new topic today, and that is pronunciation in French, and more specifically, the importance of an accent, or not, as the case may be. Now, as I've mentioned in one of my previous French videos, for French people learning English, having a native sounding accent for a foreigner in the UK at least is not really that important, because we are used to hearing foreigners speaking our language. Everyone comes to our country and wants to learn English. They work in restaurants, etc., etc. So for us it isn't really a problem. Unfortunately, in France there are quite a few stereotypes attached to the way people speak and the way people's accents sound when they speak. So I wouldn't say that it's really important to have a good accent or a good pronunciation, but it does certainly help to make your life easier. Okay, well, the first tip is don't try and run before you can walk. Now, what I mean by this is, when you have been in France for a while, or when you have been in a French-speaking environment for a while, you may hear the colloquial way of speaking that most French people have, or that all French people have, and you may be tempted to try and copy it. Unfortunately, because your brain is not geared to pronounce the words in that way, with exactly the right rhythm and exactly the right sound, you're going to lose a lot more time, because people are just going to simply ask you to repeat what you said. So rather than trying to sound fluent by speaking very, very fast, like you may hear some French people do, try and focus instead on pronouncing each word individually and making sure that the sounds are clear and crisp as you pronounce them. That way you may feel like you're not sounding fluent, but you will actually be easier to understand. Okay, tip number 2 is to practice sounds which are not natural in your own language. So, in my case, English. Now, some of the sounds that are very difficult to pronounce in French are the sounds like the R, where it appears in the middle of a word, as in merci, or as in serrurier. Now, this is a very, very good word. The word serrurier, which means a locksmith. So, if you want to practice your rolling or semi-rolling French R's, then you can, if you like, and if you're feeling like you've got really nothing else to do, you can say the word serrurier 10 times every day, and hopefully it will help you to improve the sound. So, serrurier, 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 serrurier. Okay, well, I need to stand up for this one. A very common joke among French people when they talk about English people speaking French is that we are not able to properly pronounce the expression merci beaucoup, which means thanks very much. People seem to have the idea that English people, they always pronounce merci beaucoup as merci beaucoup, which means thanks, nice ass. So another little exercise you can do, if you're feeling very athletic like I am today, is you can practice the difference between the sound for the word for neck, which is le cou, and the sound for the word ass, which is le cul. So you can do something like this: cou, cul, cou, cul, cou, cul, cou, cul. Okay, point number 3, which is how to gauge your progress in pronunciation and in your general fluency overall. Now, for me, this was the point when French people, when I said something to them in French, they stopped making a very strange sort of screwed up, Gallic, confused look, something like that, as they tried to decipher the rubbish that was coming out of my mouth. So for me, the first time I really felt I was progressing with my French pronunciation was when people stopped looking at me like I was somebody who just climbed out of a manhole. So that's one thing. Another good indicator of your progress in the language is that you are still able to be intelligible when you are completely and utterly knackered. We all know that learning a foreign language is very tiring, and you normally speak better early in the morning when you've got loads of energy, buckets of energy, and in the evening you sort of are reduced to strange sounding things coming out of your mouth that vaguely resemble something French. But if you are still able to deliver the same quality of intelligibility after a long day's work, when you've been up until 2 o'clock in the morning, and you're still able to say pleasantries to the taxi driver on the way home despite having had a couple of pints, then you know at that point that you have achieved another level in your quest towards a much better French pronunciation. So, there we have it, a few points on improving your French pronunciation. I hope you'll go out and put some of those things we looked at into practice, although doing the cul-cul dance in a pub or in a bar in France is probably not the best thing to do, unless you go to a very interesting kind of bar, which is not really included in the scope of this video. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, your comments are always welcome, and I hope to speak to you again very, very soon. Bye bye.